Marco, Nicole, how are we doing today? Cool Gamer, David, long time no see. How are we doing today? Viperin, Michelle Johnson, how are we doing? I think maybe using the wrong account, or are you using the right account? So we're going to go over a pretty good topic today that a lot of people struggle with. Rowdy gal, how you doing? It's wrong, sir. Hold on. You're using the right account. It's wrong, sir, but it feels so right. uh, which is fine. If you don't feel like modding tonight, that's fine. I got plenty of mods in here. We shouldn't be getting any trolls today. So I watched a video that one of my good friends sent me about boundaries, and I'm actually going to share that. I'm not going to share the video, but I'm going to post a link to the video. So give me just a second. All right, so here's the link to the video I watched earlier today. It's about boundaries. So after this live, if you want to go and watch it, you can. Because the boundaries I'm going to be talking about is a little different than this video. Because there's different types of boundaries. There's personal boundaries, and then you have the video. The link to the video I shared is about boundaries with narcissists. So I think, and the person talking in this video is actually a medical professional. And I don't know if I'm with you guys. So, Queen Bee, how you doing? I took a little nap, and my mom was like, comes in and wakes me up, and she's like, "Are you going live? You going live?" I said, "Mom, I'm taking a nap. Let me take that little nap. I got a lot to talk about today. I need to focus. I need my brain to be operational. So when I get up here and start talking about boundaries, we got to talk about boundaries." I'm sorry to hear that, Queen Bee. Sweet and Sleuthy, how you doing? So let me share this link. Present personal boundaries. Okay. So we can see that. I hate to add. There we go. So, why personal boundaries are important and how to set them. How do I get rid of that? There we go. Now, can everybody see what I'm reading? Personal boundaries are vital, but not always easy to establish. Still, with a few helpful tips, setting and communicating boundaries become easier. Now, I'm not reading everything, just so you know. I'm reading a couple of paragraphs and then the tips. What are personal boundaries? And then I'm going to read the tips because I like reading, but I don't like reading an entire website. What's up, Shoemaker? Because I'm not here to read an entire website. I'm here to take what an entire website says and then use my personal experience and you guys' personal experience to go with it. So I'm going to open up the panel after I'm done reading. And if somebody wants to come up and talk about boundaries and how they work for them, we're going to do that. Devo. So from childhood, we're often taught to bend and mold ourselves to make others comfortable. Sometimes this messaging is implied as school dress codes, for instance, and sometimes it's direct. I don't care if you don't want to hug your grandfather. It's rude not to. But the one truth is, it's always there. So it's no wonder some of us find it difficult to set appropriate boundaries as we get older. We don't want to offend or hurt others, even when the avoidance ultimately means hurting ourselves. We've been taught from a young age to put the feelings of others ahead of our own needs, to the point that many of us don't even know the answer to the question, what are boundaries, let alone how to set them. That isn't a healthy or effective strategy for anyone. Research has found that the violation of personal space can cause discomfort, and personal experience tells most of us that discomfort caused by boundary violations can lead to anxiety and fallout of relationships, both personal and professional. Uh, what are personal boundaries? Personal boundaries are simply the lines we draw for ourselves in terms of our self comfort around others. These boundaries may have to do with physical contact, not feeling comfortable hugging a person you've just met, a verbal interaction, not wanting a friend or family member to speak down to you, our own personal space, choosing not to have others in your home when you aren't there. I agree with those. The only thing I struggle with is giving a stranger a hug. What's wrong with giving a stranger a hug? I don't understand. But to each is their own. I could see physical contact, invading personal space of somebody else. I can understand that. But asking somebody if they'd like a hug, I don't, man, now they make me feel like a crappy person by that statement. Because I love hugging people because a lot of people don't get hugs. All right, neither here nor there. These boundaries typically fall into a few specific categories. Emotional, protecting our own emotional well-being. Physical, protecting our physical space. S- mm, Sexual, protecting our needs and safety sexually. I agree with that. Workplace, protecting our ability to do our work without interference or drama. Material, protecting our personal belongings. Time, protecting the use and misuse of our time. I agree with those. Yes, Devo. A person's personal boundaries is as having the ability to say no when you think it's too much. Boundaries can also exist in a variety of situations, including at work, at home, when visiting family, when out with friends. All right, so let's see if they got any tips. All right, this is what I wanted to talk about. Tips on setting boundaries. That's the most important thing is, all right, we know what boundaries are. Now let's tips. Emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries often have to do with how others talk to and treat us. And they aren't always things we think to set until a boundary has already been crossed. This is okay though. Let's say you get into an argument with someone and they called you an unkind name. Once you both have calmed down, the best way to set an emotional boundary with that person is to approach them. Ask to speak about the argument. Own any part you may have played in the argument going awry. Tell them that you are not okay with name calling and that you will need them to engage without stooping to that level in the future. That's yes, maybe we can't let boundaries be used as an excuse to shut the world out. That's what people do. So with emotional boundaries, that can be difficult, okay, with certain individuals. And I'll explain why. I've had this situation before. You get into an argument with somebody, and then both parties have calmed down, and you walk up to them and you try to talk to them, and say, "Hey, I didn't appreciate that name he called me during that argument. That was inappropriate." The most common thing the person's going to say, in my case that I've dealt with, is, "I don't give a shit. It is what it is." That's in most cases. Not in all cases, but in most cases in my personal life, if they call you a name, it's how they feel about you. Dose of Rose is when I set boundaries, it's to protect me and my beliefs, not to keep others out. I agree with that too. Physical boundaries. Let's say you aren't comfortable with shaking hands. While this tends to be a social norm, there are many reasons a person may not be comfortable with doing so, especially since the the I don't know. The best way to set this boundary is before it even becomes an issue. When you meet someone, wave from few feet away. Smile and say, "I don't shake hands, but I'm glad to meet you." Don't feel the need to apologize or explain yourself beyond that. These are some horrible examples. What am I reading? In my opinion, when you're going for a job, you have to shake hands with the person that's hiring you. That shows professionalism. You know, I'm not going to stand a few feet away and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. My name's so and so. I'm here for the job." Yeah, that's so unprofessional. They're using horrible examples. I can understand, you meet somebody for the first time, stand 6 feet away from them and say, "Well, they talked about." Hold on, I gotta find the date on this article. April 26, 2023. That's the date on this article. Well, I understand, a lot of females don't shake hands when they meet each other, but in a professional environment, when you're meeting with another man, for a job, I've always been taught in college and in school, I'm gonna look that you always shake the person's hand. It shows a sign of respect. That's what I've always been taught. All right, let me see this article when it was written. I just This is the most recent article I could find about. Let me do some research. All right, let me stop sharing. That was like the most recent article I could find about boundaries. Uh, when was this article written? See, I've always known. Yeah, it was post crude introduction. Post, not pre crude introduction. It was post. You know, see, I understand. I understand. I understand. I made it. I like handshakes, just not weak ones. They call them dead fish. You're shaking somebody's hand and it's like this. Like, I'm a firm grip. How you doing? My name is Eddie. It's nice to meet you. I'm here for a job interview. You know, that's how you introduce yourself. That's how I've always been taught. When you meet somebody, you know, depends on the area. You fist bump people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. David made a good example. He said, "Yeah, human touch is necessary for us. babies die without it. As much as we think we're lone wolves or one man armies, it's untrue in my opinion. So and then Queen Bee says the only reason why yeah, okay. We already yep, we went through that. Just call me Hen and sent to the building. How you doing? Which is fine. I don't mind fist bumps. It'd just be awkward. It would just be awkward. So I'm going to open up the panel because I want multiple people to come up if they want to. If they won't won't to. Yeah, I'm a hugger too. You know, there's always somebody out there that needs a hug, especially someone that doesn't get hugged a lot. You know, or was neglected in that atmosphere. You know, that heart to heart connection. A lot of people don't realize it. You give somebody a hug and they get that heart to heart connection. You can feel the energy. You know, what's going on, John Paul? How you doing, George? Every night when you leave, I give you a hug because that's what brothers do. That's what friends do. We give each other a hug. Yes. Even after you kick my ass in cribbage, I still give you a hug. So that's good to hear, John. You're doing fantastic. That's good to hear. I'm alive and well. Now, I can respect the other part. You know what I'm saying? The communication aspect boundaries, the the all the other boundaries I can respect. That's what matters. As long as you're making music and enjoying life, that's all that matters. I tell people whatever they find passion for, do it, follow it. She's got to come in the chat. She's got to say hi. I never got a chance to sing happy birthday to her. Even if it's 16 days later, I'll still sing happy birthday to her. If she says hi in chat, she pops in and says hi. Okay. All right. So even though it's late and you're finally in here, I did tell you I'd sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to angels lie to keep control. Happy birthday to you and many more. Shit. And I never used to hug, but when I started hanging around other pagans, I was forced into expecting them. Now I offer hugs, but won't force them. Now I offer them. You want a hug right here? Give me a hug right here. You want a hug? And I can see that happening. You want a hug? I'm right here. If not, it's okay. Uh, so you can see all right. I didn't mean to chase you away. I'm sorry. Get some rest, young lady. You know what's crazy? John Paul is reading. Not that hugging is bad. It is good when really needed, but we never know when we really need it. All right, John Paul, have a good day. Willow's Nest has entered the building. Get on that grind, brother. I dropped the link, so if anybody wants to come up and talk about boundaries, um, we could do that. You made a few good points too, John. You're welcome to come up, Willow, if you want to. So sometimes what David said, that, let me go back up. One time someone touched me in the grocery store after I said something. She smiled and touched my arm, and her boyfriend was there, but it meant very much to me because I had been isolated. And then Emily's response to him, which I like, is sometimes you don't realize what you need until you have it, especially after isolation. Yes, Rose, a dose of Rose. Boundaries for me are like, I don't want to see a person starve, but I don't have to let them sit at my table. I will no longer entertain them or their drama. Yes. DJ Rogue Knox on the ones and twos. I agree. You know, um, see, I can understand. I don't like when people sneak up on me and pat me on the back either, especially if I don't see them coming. There are also boundaries that exist within every kind of relationship. You can't always kick people off your table, which I agree. There are all. I agree. You know, so vipering. I can't. I agree with you. I can't stand. But the thing is if somebody's standing in front of me and I can tell that person knows that I'm going through something, or I can tell that that person in front of me is going through something, and I can read it and I can see it, I offer them a hug, right? 9 times out of 10, it's worked. Now, do I hug everybody? Do I make people hug me? No. I'm like, you want a hug? You want a hug? You know, I had a dude tell me men don't hug each other. As a as one of the patrons came in and gave me a hug, right? And I'm like, men don't hug each other? I'm like, that's false. So so Willow, this is what I'll do. I'll stand stiff and let you hug me. I'll stand stiff. I'm just trying to be funny. Trying to be funny. I agree. Consent is consent. Yes. I shared that video at the beginning of the live. I'm gonna share it again. so you people can copy and paste it. It's also in Discord. Um, Rogue Knox is the one that shared it with me. uh, I'm not gonna play it. I didn't play it. I didn't plan on playing it. I'm not getting a strike. I just shared the video in chat. I posted a link to the video in chat. Only thing that's hugging you, mate, is a bear. No. This is a good example. This is true. I like this statement, but you never know. But that girl wouldn't have asked to touch me because it was spontaneous. So it wouldn't have happened. If she did ask, I would have said no. We're not always the best judges of what our emotions needs are. I hugged the shit out of everybody. I gave this one individual a hug. 15 minutes later, he came back to me and said, "That's what I needed." I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just talking about a hug. I'm not talking about whispering in people's ears. I'm just talking about giving a straight up hug. Yes, Vibrant. I hope you get when you see the professional next month. I hope it works. I hope everything works out, bro. I don't know about hugging the actual shit out of somebody. No, you got you guys are awesome. But the thing, I can understand that there's too much human separation. Plus, it's getting worse, and it is because we're not interacting with each other. We'll be like this. I only got 35 likes today. I need about 500,000 more. See, human separation, we forget how to be social. We forget how to communicate. We forget how to be personable with each other. You're standing in a public spot and somebody says, "Hello, how are you doing?" You don't know how to respond because you're probably like IDC, LOL, all these abbreviations because you forget how to talk anymore. Like, see, IDK, I don't know. See, perfect example. We speak that in real life. That's the problem. See, perfect example. Oh, you and your sarcasm, angels. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was such a good one. Oh, IDKYWYS means I don't know what you're saying. WYS means what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. See, boundaries can be interpreted in so many different ways: emotional, physical. You know, emotional boundaries, I think, are the hardest, in my opinion. Emotional boundaries are the hardest. How people communicate amongst each other, I think, are the hardest, especially when it comes to name calling. Man, I'm tired, and I shouldn't be. A dose of rose. I was just going to tell you, I don't know what you're saying to make it a joke. Who's on first joke, but I was slow. I'm just glad people in chat can communicate with each other and not fight and argue with each other, because certain subjects can be touching, like boundaries, for example. Some of us agree to disagree. Oh my God. Coffee. I took a nap. That's the reason why I'm probably still tired. I'm not awake all the way. So after the live, I'm going to do voice chat for a little bit. So, yeah, it's about that time. It's about that time. I need suggestions for tomorrow. Remember, everybody, the 29th, Eastern Standard Time, trivia night. 8 p.m. So be prepared. Be prepared for trivia night. Everybody, I am signing off. So I'll see you guys in voice chat. I'm hungry. I got to fix something to eat. So, all right, be prepared, Viperin. Angels Lights Deep Control just said, oh, it's leap year. That means women can propose. Be prepared, Viperin. All right, everybody. You guys have a good night. And I will see some of you in voice chat. Good night, my friends. All things serious out.